Tommy is struggling with mortality, desperately searching for the medical breakthrough that will save the life of his cancer-stricken wife. However, he stumbles upon the Tree of Life, which is said to bestow immortality upon all who drink its sap. This film unfolds in 3 intertwined storylines, spanning the era of Spanish conquistadors, a near-future setting, and a deep space journey aboard an environmentally conscious starship. In one of the narratives, we follow the journey of a research oncologist named Tommy Creo, played by Hugh Jackman. Tommy is dedicated to finding a cure for brain tumors and conducts experiments on rhesus monkeys. His motivation stems from his wife, Izzy, played by Rachel Weisz, who is battling cancer. After his attempts to reverse brain tumors in a monkey named Donovan prove unsuccessful, Tommy becomes inspired to defy medical protocol. He decides to administer an untested compound derived from a Guatemalan tree. Initially, the drug doesn't halt the tumor's growth as expected, but surprisingly, it rejuvenates Donovan. Not only does it heal his wounds, but it also enhances his cognitive abilities. While at home, Izzy directs Tommy's attention to a mesmerizing nebula, referring to it as Xibalba, the Mayan underworld. She also shares with him a book she is writing, which takes place during the time of the conquistadors and is titled The Fountain. Later, when Izzy falls asleep, Tommy reads her book and eventually drifts off as well. Upon awakening, he discovers that Izzy has left for the museum. Tommy meets her there, and she proceeds to recount the Mayan creation myth. Suddenly, Izzy experiences a seizure and is urgently taken to the hospital. Beside her hospital bed, she confides in Tommy that she no longer harbors a fear of death. However, Tommy refuses to accept this and resolves to intensify his efforts in finding a cure for Izzy's brain tumor, returning to his laboratory. During one of Izzy's hospital visits, she suffers a cardiac arrest, and Tommy is compelled to leave the room. In the hallway, Tommy encounters his colleague Dr. Lillian Gazzetti, played by Ellen Burstyn, who informs him that Donovan's tumor is shrinking. Filled with hope, Tommy rushes back to Izzy's room to share the news, only to discover that his wife cannot be revived. At Izzy's funeral, Tommy confides in Gazzetti, stating, "Death is a disease, it's like any other. And there is a cure, and I will find it." The conquistador storyline unfolds in 16th century Spain, where Grand Inquisitor Silecio, played by Stephen McHattie, vilifies the Spanish Queen Isabella, Rachel Weisz, as a heretic. Cunningly, he seizes territories in his quest to usurp power from her, eliminating her followers along the way. Tomas, Hugh Jackman, a conquistador loyal to Isabella, hatches a plot to assassinate Silecio. However, his scheme is thwarted by his subordinate, Captain Ariel, Cliff Curtis, who brings an urgent message from the Queen. Tomas is then summoned back to Isabella's court, where he is entrusted with the mission of locating the Tree of Life. The tree's whereabouts are unveiled through a concealed map etched on a Mayan dagger stolen by Father Avila, Mark Margolis, a member of the Franciscan order supporting the Queen. Accompanied by Avila and fellow conquistadores, Tomas embarks on a journey to the New World in pursuit of the tree. Tomas quells the rebellion by eliminating the leaders, while Avila reveals that they have finally reached their destination. However, as Tomas approaches the pyramid atop which the tree stands, they are attacked by Mayan warriors. During the battle, Tomas's last 2 comrades perish while attempting to escape. Surprisingly, the Mayan warriors spare Tomas but force him to ascend the pyramid. Upon reaching the temple at its pinnacle, a Mayan priest stabs Tomas in the abdomen. The astronaut segment features Tom, portrayed by Hugh Jackman, an astronaut journeying towards a resplendent nebula aboard an environmentally conscious spacecraft, which also serves as a habitat for a living tree. In his solitude, Tom engages in meditative practices, assuming the Padmasana posture and practicing Tai Chi. He sustains his youthful state by deriving compounds from the sap of the tree, yet he is plagued by visions of Izzy. Tom remains fixated on reaching the nebula, repeatedly assuring the tree that it will experience rebirth upon their arrival, despite the considerable amount of sap he has extracted from it. However, despite his reassurances, the tree eventually perishes, leaving Tom to contemplate the centuries of travel undertaken merely to reunite with Izzy. Izzy continues to haunt Tom in his visions, encouraging him to complete her book, The Fountain. Confronting his fear of death, Tom embraces the notion of his mortality, which grants him the ability to ultimately pen the book's concluding chapter. Rather than ending Tomas' life, a Mayan priest recognizes him as the first father, the divine being who sacrificed himself to shape the world. In a remarkable turn of events, the Mayan priest offers himself as a sacrifice, and Tomas, hesitantly, slits his throat. Passing through a doorway, the conquistador discovers the Tree of Life situated within a heavenly garden atop the pyramid. As he punctures the tree with the pilfered Mayan dagger, its sap spills onto the ground, instantly giving rise to a small plant that swiftly blossoms where it landed. Viewing this as a sign of rejuvenation, Tomas applies some of the sap to his abdominal wound, healing himself. Consumed by greed, he proceeds to ingest more of the sap until he begins to witness the manifestation of Xibalba above him. Unfortunately, his triumph is short-lived as he collapses in agony, leaves and flowers erupting from his body, eventually enveloping and burying him. The subsequent scene shifts to the future, where Tom ventures into the heart of the nebula, adorned with a ring bestowed upon him by the Queen of Spain. With a serene acceptance of his impending demise, he enters Xibalba. As Xibalba collapses and the stars explode in a supernova, Tom's body disintegrates, becoming scattered amidst the lifeless tree, which is revitalized by his essence. In the present day, Tommy is depicted planting a seed from the tree upon Izzy's grave, making a concerted effort to come to terms with his wife's passing, embracing the inevitability of her death. The Fountain is a visually stunning and thematically rich exploration of love, loss, and the human pursuit of immortality. It delves into the profound questions surrounding mortality and the choices we make in the face of death, ultimately highlighting the importance of embracing the fleeting beauty of life and finding peace in the inevitability of our own mortality.